Well, if you thought the coronavirus pandemic was enough for 2020, think again.
You've probably seen the headlines about murder hornets. What are they, and are they really as scary as they sound? Well, earlier this afternoon, we talked to an expert, Bob Jeanne, Professor Emeritus of Entomology at UW-Madison.
Well, when settlers came from Europe over here, they found the so-called bald-faced hornet, which is one of our native yellow jackets. And it's the biggest yellow jacket. It's black and white. You probably know it. They call that a hornet because it was the biggest one they found. But it's not a true hornet. True hornets are strictly old world in the genus Vespa.
Are murder hornets as scary as they sound?
They are. They're the world's biggest social insect. That is, of all the ants and termites and wasps and bees that live in colonies, they're the biggest. I mean, that is, the workers are bigger than any other. In the newspapers these days of queens being up to 2 inches long are a little bit exaggerated. From what I read in the literature, they're not quite that big, and the workers are a little bit smaller. But yeah, workers can be 1.5 inches.
Why do they call them murder hornets?
I think that's because in Japan, they kill a good number of people every year, about 50, I think. If you get into the nest, mess with the nest, or accidentally find one in the orchard where you're trying to do some pruning or picking, they can attack you en masse. If you get more than a few stings, it can be fatal. Just because they're so big, so they inject a lot of venom.
I understand you spent some time in Japan and you actually saw some of these hornets. What was that like?
Well, as I mentioned, we collected one colony from a hollow tree and got the tree open and then pulled out the combs, collected the brood, collected some of the adults, and made it off with the collection.
But they make a unique sound, right?
Yeah, they click with their mandibles as they fly around, when they defend their colony.
That's frightening.
It sounds like a little helicopter, is that right?
Yeah.
So what threat do they pose to our ecosystem and crops here in the United States?
They have a reputation, in Japan in particular, of attacking honeybee colonies, and they can, within hours, completely kill a hive of bees by attacking them. What happens is a single hornet forager will find a honeybee hive and then attack it. It'll start by sitting at the entrance waiting for bees to come out and attack it. And as the bees do come out to defend the colony against this attacker, the hornet will just crunch them. It'll pick them up with their mandibles and cut the heads off and pick up a pile of them, take the thoraxes of the bees back to its own colony, hornet colony, and feed those honeybee thoraxes, which contain all the muscle, to their own brood.
Is there a chance that they'll spread throughout the country?
That's a good question. They'll probably spread, but how far they'll go is hard to predict. I saw one report that suggested they won't make it up into Alaska, despite the fact of being in British Columbia already. Whether they'll get here or not is really hard to say. They are in northern Japan, in Hokkaido, that large northern island, which is a fairly temperate climate. They get a lot of snow in the winter, just like we do. So it's possible that they could make it through Wisconsin winter if they were to get this far.
Well, let's hope they stay away from our area.
Yes,
Bob, thanks for being with us today. Great information.
Great to see you, Bob. Thank you so much.
Sure.
There you go.
Even scarier with the video attached. Wow.
Let's hope they don't make it.
Yeah, exactly.